Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. Our title sponsor for the episode and podcast is Go High Level, also known as GHL. GHL is the first ever all-in-one platform that gives you the tools, support, and resources you need to succeed and crush your marketing goals. Personally, I have used this software since 2020. It's been a game changer for my business and for our clients. If you are looking to level up your CRM and marketing game, then this is the platform to use. You can find a link for a free and extended 30-day trial with tons of Builders of Authority and personal branding bonuses in the show notes. So take advantage of the opportunity to adopt the amazing software and grow your business. Today, we have another in-person episode at Half Coast Studios here in St. Louis. Today's guest and I have been connected for a few months after both being members at Adventure Unknown. He is someone that values hard work, consistency, and taking action. I've only just got the opportunity to get to know him even better, and I'm looking forward to diving into the episode today to learn more. My guest today is Jason Fry. Jason, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much. Super excited, and let's get started.
Yeah, man. Who's Jason?
Who's Jason? Jason is a coach, a dad, a husband. That's probably most important.
Yeah.
And I'm on Team Jesus, and I'm excited about helping other people grow, helping them improve their leadership, helping them improve their authority by consistency and just focused on what metrics matter to them.
Love it. I love the positive outlook you have on life, right? And so I would love to kind of go and how did we get to where we're at right now? So we know kind of what Jason's working on right now, but how did a lot of this stuff get started?
Oh, man. Let's see. If we went all the way back, I graduated high school. I'm working full time because I just kept working on trying to find a place that gave me a scholarship for basketball. So I worked 3 years full time, and then I was given the opportunity. Well, I was only given the opportunity when my pastor, Rick Warren, big Purpose-Driven Life book came out, and we were all doing this thing, and he said, "Why don't you give God a timeline?" I said, "You want me to give God a timeline?" Okay, deal. I'm tired of getting no's from all these different schools. I'm done. All right, God, you got 1 week. You got 1 week to give me a chance at a scholarship. And day one goes by, nothing. Day two goes by, nothing. Day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7 comes by 18 minutes before my timeline was up. And I got a phone call from Missouri Baptist University that said, "Hey, we know you're a shooter. We want you to come try out." Okay. Came and tried out. Didn't miss a shot in the tryout. And then moved up in the fall and kind of was there ever since. And so it was an amazing thing of just proving that sometimes you got to rely on other people. You got to rely on God. You got to rely on your faith to move you, but it's also action. Yeah. So you can't, faith isn't just belief. That's where people get, hope, terrible strategy. Let's make action. So then I played 4 years, and then I started coaching immediately. And then from that time, I was hooked on coaching. So whether it was strength and conditioning or it was somebody who just got injured, a basketball player that just got injured. And so they're a junior going, "My career is over. My dreams are over." I called them that night. Didn't know them. "Hey, look, I'm so-and-so. This is what I do, and I want to help you get to your dream." And so it was kind of like just boom, 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 boom. Let's invite all these players. Let's build them up. But we got them stronger. We got them faster. We got them to be able to jump even higher. And then we got them their college dreams. So that's what started it. And then it went from that to helping Pure Sweat grow. Pure Sweat Basketball is the #1 basketball training company in the world. Drew Hanlon started it. I was the first one hired. And so we built this brick by brick all the way up. COO comes, he makes it even better. So just all these little pieces happened to where we were able to build something really, really special. Then we get a little bit past 8 years, 9 years later, and I'm like, I love this leadership thing. I love this coaching thing. I love this. How do I help others? How do I create a bigger impact? And so The focus shifted. Instead of working with individual athletes, it became working with individual coaches, individual leaders, mission critical teams. Let's see, businesses, just different people who led bigger teams. So then I could have a bigger impact. So it was kind of a selfish thing,
Yeah.
just because I felt like I was called to do something bigger instead of just going individually.
Mm.
If I can change a coach, that coach leads 30, 50, however many people.
Yeah.
Well, now we can really change some things up and really create the impact. So that's what it has been. Then we shifted to building this business of writing on LinkedIn. And so it's like just been piece by piece by piece. What am I doing? How am I building it? And then just creating, hopefully, impact along the way.
That's incredible. Yeah, I've been following Pure Sweat since it started, just being a St. Louis guy, seeing Drew grow and be able to do all that stuff. Had no idea until you and I met that you were a part of that too. So cool to kind of like know someone that kind of helped build that, because I have a ton of respect there. And then obviously you going out on kind of your own and saying, "Hey, I want to take this a little bit deeper." What was that like, going from, "Hey, like I've helped build this thing," to now I'm building this other thing for myself?
Yeah. Well, let's think about it from your people's standpoint, like our listeners' standpoint. We're building authority. Authority is scary.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
Not just authority being scary, but then building your own business. Well, that's scary.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, we measure ourselves on other people's chapters.
Mhm.
You know, Adam's in chapter 7. I'm in chapter 2, and I'm sitting there just down, and I don't move. I don't create a needle move forward just because I'm like, well, that's not fair. Adam's on chapter 7. But I don't take any account into you going through chapter 1 through 7.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so it kind of hinders my process. So it's a really, really scary thing to go out. And so if we had processes and procedures set in place to take those steps, then it's a whole lot less scary.
Mm.
It's a whole lot more doable. It's a whole lot more, I guess you can see the pathway a little bit easier.
Mm.
And then it's more, instead of me doing that comparison game of looking at you, I just look at me and I
Yeah.
look at my growth and go, yo, 2 weeks ago I was here. I didn't know this. Or
Mm.
heck, yesterday I dove into something I didn't know and now I'm here.
Mm.
So it's just one of those things to look back and go, it's on me and not somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that like I struggle in coaching people sometimes, because they look at me in a sense of exactly what you said of, Adam's here. I understand I need to go do all of these other things, but it's coming so much easier for Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following the same process and the same blueprint and doing all those things. And I get to tell people is that, hey, no differently than I look up to people too and see people that are like way further than me. I have the same like thoughts and ideas in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so often we look at it and say, well, the system doesn't work. The blueprint isn't the blueprint anymore. And it's like, I've been doing this for 4 years of creating and building authority, digital marketing and entrepreneurship for 6. You can't go and look at that. And if anything, it should make you want to do more, work harder,
Yeah.
and say, I want to close that gap. And I think a lot of people struggle with the mindset behind it, but then they struggle with thinking that, oh, hey, it's going to take me 4 years to catch up in theory to Adam. I'm going to be going and moving. I'm not staying where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where a lot of people struggle too, is they're like, okay, I just need to do it for 4 years and then everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, I think number one, the most important thing that hopefully people get from this episode or from any episode is that it's about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the blueprint, but if you don't create relationships, that blueprint gets you what? Stuck. And you're like, oh, well, that blueprint sucks. I'm going to go online and Google something, and then now my ads pop up, and I'm going to get that one.
Yeah.
And so it's just a constant look instead of going, okay, well, what relationships do I need? That's one of our processes and procedures.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things I need to know? Because when we do leadership, if you're my employee and I don't provide you with the resources, that's my fault as a leader.
Yeah.
It's not your fault for not being able to do something you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. Who do I need to know?
Mm.
What's my next step? Because I'm a firm believer that your circle, whatever you have created, there's somebody in your circle that allows you, if you let them, to take you out of that circle and into the next step.
Mm.
There's always somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's in, no matter what step you're at, there's somebody that you're related to, that you're friends with or you're connected to, that can help you move your needle to whatever that next step is. So you're at step 1. Well, now Adam's in your life to get you to step 2. Well, boom, I'm at step 2. Well, now Jason's in my life and I recognize it to get me to step 3. And so if you're able to be working consistently and then also notice that, hey, I'm improving my life by improving my circle, improving the people in it, then that's going to allow me to just truly expand and grow. And then now the blueprint works.
Yeah.
But just following things to a T doesn't always do it. It's consistency and it's building those relationships.
Yeah. It's got to be more than just the activity. I call it like a perfect storm, right? It's got to be multiple things coming together and ascending in the process. So where did the LinkedIn writing come into play at?
Oh, man. I actually started doing it a little bit for myself. Um, and then what I did, I wrote 2 books. I did Mindful Minutes, and it was 365, and I turned that into a 1-year program.
Okay.
So I got a lot of practice by writing there. I did the writing for my book, The Coach's Season. So it was just built on, I interviewed 94 coaches. Actually, I've interviewed 100, but 6 weren't quite good enough. So we kept it to 94. And so I had this, all of a sudden, I had this love for writing, and I didn't know it. I slept through junior year English class,
Yeah.
and I wish I didn't because my editor's like, Jason, red pen, all throughout the book. And so it just became something that I really started to enjoy. And then I started writing it, and then I said, hey, let me write for you. So I asked a business leader, I said, hey, man, I recognize that you haven't put anything out. I think LinkedIn's really powerful for your people and who you need to influence to get more customers. And he said, okay, go for it. Let's do this. And we bumped. I mean, we jumped up probably 18 sales in the first month and a half.
Wow.
Which for him is a really, really big deal, and for his company. And so then I was like, what? The process works. How do I do this? And so what we started seeing was that everybody I was writing for was increasing sales. And as you know, on LinkedIn, it's really hard to get sales.
Yeah.
And so it's working. The process is working. What we're doing is working. And so uh, that's kind of how it started. And now it's just staying consistent with being able to do it. And one of the things that I said relationships was a big deal. I want to get to know who I'm writing for. And so it's their message to their people. The first person that I wrote for, that 18 sales in a month and a half, those 18 and all the other people that are within his program, only one person in that time frame said, I don't think that's you writing. Only one.
Yeah.
So I knew that at least my voice was matching his voice.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest thing. And so I want to spend some time with the person that I'm writing for. So I get, are they auditory? Are they kinesthetic? Are they visual? So if I can get one of those 3 and understand that that's how you do it, well, now I can replicate your voice a little bit better. You're visual. Boom. We're speaking from a visual standpoint. So we say, I see that more often, so just visual triggers. So then we can write more so in the message that works for them. And I think that that's probably one of the most important things when writing or doing anything. If you're somebody else's voice, whether it's marketing or anything, like we need to represent the voice.
Yeah. So it's an interesting like segue here because of a lot of what we talk about on the show, but also like AI and branding and chat GPT and all that stuff where a lot of people are just putting something in a chat GPT and being like, hey, write this LinkedIn post for me. You're like the human version of relationship version of doing that. How have you seen people do what you are doing for your clients done wrong by AI?
Well, I think it is just that, but then they leave it at that.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. Like if you can utilize AI is not going anywhere. It is only expanding. Like the things that are happening for companies, for lawn companies, like your ability to have an AI voice, and then to actually take the call is insane. Like AI is doing that. So it's only expanding. But the thing is, if you only use AI and you don't have things that you don't set up ahead of time, like if they don't know who I'm talking to, if I don't know who they're talking to, if I don't know their voice, then what ChatGPT gives me is not going to be their voice. And all it does is go, somebody else wrote that. ChatGPT wrote that. if you're thinking ChatGPT wrote that, AI wrote that, whatever source we're using,
Yeah.
if they're thinking they wrote that, then you're not going to get the sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you can really trigger in on what's their voice, and then I can utilize ChatGPT and put this in and go, okay, well, we got to change this and this and this, and I got to create the profile correctly. Boom. Now I'm able to create something in less time
Mm-hmm.
and something that works for my person.
Yeah. That's what I tell people all the time is like AI is not going away, but marketers, content like the really, really good people
Mm-hmm.
aren't going away either.
No.
The people that have been using all of this stuff as a crutch or a band-aid or all those different things or trying to completely replace stuff, those are the ones that are going to get left behind and or completely just gone through the wind. All of this stuff is only as good as the person inputting the information in there and then how you're reframing the information once it's in there to be able to actually go take action and get the results.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people struggle.
Yeah.
What are 3 tips you could give to somebody that like LinkedIn, I think, is a gold mine for people when done correctly because there's so much spam that's out there. There is so much AI. Doing it the right way. What are like 3 tips if somebody's listening to this and like, man, I want to dive back into LinkedIn? What are 3 tips you can give them?
Well, it's going to come back to number one, hands down, it is the most important thing is my intention. And if I don't know my intention, then it doesn't matter. Same thing with relationships. But so what are my intention towards getting on LinkedIn? Is it a gold mine? Absolutely. Is it to drive more sales? Is it to drive more attention? Like I'm a firm believer. I need to get attention first.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? You're one of those. I'm posting 2 times a day. I'm a firm believer that that's what should be happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, very first thing I would do is I would figure out what all I offer. And if I know what all I offer, then I have more writing capabilities to put out there. If you offer one thing, it's going to be really, really hard to sell just because all you're ever doing is putting 2 times a day, same exact thing.
Yeah.
If you have, I would utilize testimonials a lot because those truly sell. I mean, that's somebody who's lived and breathed your product.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really, really important thing. So intention first, and then diving into each one of those. What do I sell? Number 2. And probably the other thing would be is inviting other people to be alongside your journey. So if I said, hey, Adam, you're my best buddy. Can you share some of this stuff that I'm putting out there? And so just by doing those 3 things, you're going to start noticing that there's more attention being grabbed.
Yeah.
And so what do I do with that attention now? Is it a follow-up? It's so important to be commenting on comments. So how do I drive just more attention to me, to my service, to my team? If I had a 4th one, it would be utilizing my team. So whether it's them sharing my stuff, but the other thing is how do I empower my team to do that as well? How do I showcase my teammates? If I'm a boss and I show that I love my teammates, what is that going to do to everybody? Like, I want to work with a guy who's really good to his employees.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with an a-hole. And so it's one of those things. Like, if I see that, then I can do that. So and then what's that do to your team? Like everything in leadership is all about how do I lead by example? That's number 1. How do I build relationships? So how do I walk alongside the journey with my teammates? Then how do I give them and empower them to do my job, to do steps so that I can go do whatever it is that I do well.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's probably one of the most important things. How do I empower them publicly and privately?
Well, you said something interesting there about like highlighting the team and bringing everything full circle. I tell people all the time is like anytime we're hiring for a job right now or position right now, and we posted it literally yesterday. Not only have we had applicants come in on LinkedIn specifically, but people saw it on other platforms and are reaching out, and like people that like in reality were like, man, I forgot about them, or they're a dream person that we would love to have come work with us. And a lot of times what they're saying is, we've been following you. We were waiting for an opportunity for like to work for your company. And so often we think about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, obviously tying it all together as a place for us to go get new business, which it is. But in all reality, over the last 4 years, one of my best things that I've done with my content and building authority is finding good people. And if you find good people, you're going to grow in the process usually as well, because they're either going to do one of two things. They're either going to help you, the good people, the A players, help you go get more business. They may be helping you bring in more sales, or they're going to allow you to do your thing better so that you can grow the business. And in process, they keep everything running behind the scenes.
Correct. And it just takes empowering. It just takes that praise, and it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Like, it can be a text, it can be an email, it can be a pat on the back, it can be asking them how they are doing, how their family, learning about their family. We create a CRM for all of our clients, but are we creating a CRM for our teammates?
Yeah.
And most of the time, the answer is no.
Yep.
But if you know that so and so's wife is a really good photographer, you can ask her about that. And then just see how that goes. It's just one of those things of asking questions and developing relationships. We do it in business. We need to do it for our teams.
Yeah, love it. So how have you, both on the leadership development side and coaching side of things, as well as the LinkedIn writing side of things, how have you built authority, and how do you get your clients?
Relationships. So it's one of those things like, I've always been attracted, and I don't mean like physical attraction. I've been attracted to the older people, the wiser people throughout my life. So while everybody had their party friends, I had the guy who was 10 years older who owned the business. And I was like, I want to spend time with that guy.
Yeah.
When I was in church, I had the older elders. Those were the guys I was like, I need to learn more from them. And so I think that just being able to develop that relationship can help me move up the ladder and faster. And the whole thing is like, we spend so much time, especially in school, on theory. Where's the application piece?
Yeah.
So when you learn something, the way that you learn it and make it faster is by practicing it. So the second I learn something, I read something, I want to call somebody and be like, hey, what do you think about this? I learned this, and this is what I got out of that. And then so you're able to just learn faster and develop relationships faster. I would reach out. Any book I read, I would reach out to the author. And just by having that, now, I got a friendship with Bob Berg, who wrote The Go-Giver. And it's one of those things like, if I didn't do that, then it doesn't work. So I would say anytime you learn something new, is to share whatever you learned with somebody, and then also show gratitude to whoever gave you that knowledge.
Yeah.
Because then that'll move your needle.
It's just that like personalized touch of, whether it's personalized touch for you to be able to go get what you need out of it back in return by talking with somebody else, or, hey, thank you for doing this, or can I, like, so often, this is the funniest thing ever, but like so often people see me and have connections or whatever, and they're like, how did you meet that person, or how much did it cost to do? It's like 99% of the time I just reached out and have been supporting their stuff for a while. Like Ben Newman, who we both know, like I've been following and sharing his stuff for 4 years before he came on my podcast. Like, he saw me do it and was like, hey, how can I repay you? I want to come on your podcast. But so often people are like, they automatically assume it costs a lot of money. Now, I will say on the flip side of that, when I was in medical sales, I got promoted at a very young age. It was close to like 10 years younger than the next oldest key account manager in my company. And everybody looked at it as like, Adam, how did Adam do that? Well, it was a little bit of luck, because the guy ahead of me in St. Louis went to our sister company, and I had been there for 9 months. So next in line was me, but it was a brand new role where they were kind of saying, hey, when openings happen, we're going to go hire outside the company, or if somebody wants to move to St. Louis and do that, they're going to have the opportunity to go do it. I did the best I could with the opportunity, and I got it. But at the annual sales meeting, I connected with the VP of sales in my market. I connected with the CEO of the company. And so when my name was up for it, they started asking around, like, does anybody know this Adam McChesney guy? And everybody gave me raving reviews of what they knew about me as the individual based on also my numbers and those things. If I had hid, not built those relationships and connections, people were like, hey, who's Adam McChesney? Like, I don't really know. I wouldn't have got it. And then I translate that to going into entrepreneurship, where like the first month after I went full time, I joined my first mastermind. $1,000 a month. I didn't have $1,000 a month to spend. Then I hired a coach for 30 grand the year later. And then I've started to do all these other things. Like, at every given point, people always look like, how did Adam do this? Or how is he going and doing this? again, a little bit of luck sometimes, but hard work, and sometimes it does cost. If you
Yeah.
want to get somewhere quicker, you're going to have to pay for it,
Yeah.
but people don't want to pay for
Yeah. Well, uh, I had somewhere I wanted to go earlier, but you just touched on the thing, um, is that investment.
it.
You can see it as an investment or you can see it as a cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your growth is going to do one of those two.
Yep.
It's going to require it. And so you're investing in yourself, and that's what moves you faster.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see it as that, that's the mental piece that keeps you going.
Mm.
I'm investing in me
Yep.
because I believe in me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I do that, then that helps me move faster because then typically I'm more consistent.
Mm.
And consistency is always going to be the key driver. If I don't, and if you hide, well, I could wait. I could just wait for my opportunity. Well, that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other piece, the first thing that I did want to say was that's one of the keys that if you've got a kid wanting to go to college, what you just said is the key driver to getting accepted into the school that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're going through the doctorate. Like, I want to be a doctor. And so I'm going through medical school. If you're not at every single outing that the hospital provides, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You need to go show your face. And so when it becomes I'm comparing two different profiles of somebody, two applicants. I've seen this applicant. This applicant has shown some real vigor and they want to be here. This applicant, I don't know, and I'm just looking at a face.
A piece of paper. Yeah. Mm.
Which one am I going to take?
Yeah.
And, so many people don't understand that that's what's going to drive it. If I'm applying for a job, just a regular job, if they know somebody, if the key components, the key hires know that face, it's you.
Yeah.
It's going to be something. I'm going to do business with the people I know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things of how do I just get my face out there?
100%. I absolutely love that. So what are you most excited about? I know you're working on some different stuff, building things for the future, but what's Jason got in store, at least that you can share, of what you're most excited about?
Most excited truly is the LinkedIn. We are seeing such a big growth on there for our clients. And so, heck, I can only take 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening and you really want to move your needle on LinkedIn, I've got 3 spots left. And then it becomes something where my company, we start hiring out.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do that. That's one of the things I'm most excited about. We've got another thing. It's called DHS. So it's do hard stuff. I'm not going to say the word. It's, as my wife said, it's sht. Okay. So we don't spell it out. But it's one of those things of I'm really excited about doing this, not just for what it means to me, but for what it can do for other people. If you're consistent and you've got a big goal, we call them big ass goals. If you have a goal like that and you're working for it, it just makes achieving that goal so much better, but it makes who you become in the process that much better.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to do we're going to do a quarterly event for doing hard stuff. So it might be, hey, we're going to go hit a 14er in July. So the 3 months before that, we are focused on, all right, what's my strength plan? How can I attack it? And then how can I get ready for doing a 14? Somebody might want a marathon. I am in the process of training for an ultra. The good thing is, ladies and gentlemen, anything above a marathon is considered an ultra. So we could just round up to 27 miles and call that an ultra, and I can say I'm an ultra runner. But it's just one of those things of doing hard stuff. Everybody is doing hard stuff, but they don't see it. Yeah. They don't get that they're doing it. The single mother, she's doing hard stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a reminder, hey, guess what? If I'm rocking my hat, my do hard stuff hat, if I'm rocking the t-shirt, it's my reminder that I can push through and who I want to become as a result of pushing through. That's who I want to become. And so that's one of the things that we are pumped about doing.
Love that. Man, this has been an awesome episode. I'm glad we got the chance to do this. I learned even more about you, and I knew it was going to be a good episode, but we do see the world business life, I think, in very similar aspects, and the aspect of self-development and always knowing that there's another opportunity, another level for us to level up at, I think is great. where can people stay connected with you? I know you mentioned some of the LinkedIn stuff. If you're listening and you're interested in LinkedIn, which is a gold mine, you definitely need to reach out to Jason. But where can people stay connected with you, whether it's a website or websites and on social media? We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah. It's Coach J Fry. So CoachJFry. I kept it all consistent across the board. So
Love it.
whether it's LinkedIn or it's Instagram or Twitter, any of that stuff, it's all Coach J Fry. CoachJFry.com. That's where you can find some of our older stuff. We are in the process of revamping that, making it look real sharp. So it's all in the works. But Coach J Fry is where I'm at. When somebody says my name, I'm like, did that just happen? So it's like I'm used to hearing Jay. I'm used to hearing J Fry. So I'll respond to anything.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thanks again to our amazing title sponsor, Go High Level. Without them, we aren't able to produce the quality of content or have amazing guests on like we did today with Jason or Jay or Coach J Fry. Check out a free and extended 30-day trial in the show notes. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review as well. We are making a big push for reviews, so please do that, and it helps move the needle. And remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.